Hello, I'm thrilled to have your presence with me here once again on Ripples by Gia, where we talk all about the highest consciousness and how to land it in your portal, your vessel, and your body. And I'm going to jump right into the topic because this is literally my sixth attempt. I keep getting tongue-tied. So we're just going to go and dive right into it. So today I really want to talk about the topic of how to actually activate your intuition. Now, I'm not talking about psychic gifts and abilities here. I'm talking about your intuition, your inner compass, your inner guidance, your inner voice, your gut feelings, your random thoughts that you get throughout the day, like all that magical stuff. That is what I'm talking about. Okay. I will get into psychic gifts and abilities maybe in a different episode, not just this one, because I want to keep this really simple and smooth and beginner friendly. Because I am getting this question nonstop with all my clients, nonstop. Even though I look at my clients and think, no, you're very intuitive, you're very gifted, in fact. There's always this hiccup or this feeling I find in humans that we have that we are not connected enough or we can't discern between our ego and intuition and we can never catch it on time and then we are too far into something and we think, oh, I had this like gut feeling or I had my inner voice come out and I didn't catch it on time. Let me tell you how you can always catch it on time. Let me tell you. If you go back and you trace down your ancestors, okay? I have my phone here. Because I made some notes, so I am looking back and forth. If you see my eyes being dodgy. If you go back and look into your ancestors, and especially the women of your lineage, they always knew everything. They had an answer for everything. They had a solution for everything. They knew when to speak. They knew when to hold it. They knew when to sit in stillness, when to celebrate. They had these inner seasons and phases that they were so connected and tapped into that they never relied on external sources. There was never the question of, oh, is this my intuition or what's happening here? They never questioned it because they were just conditioned and trained to follow it. And this is done really unconsciously. And this is something I've noticed in my own family, my friends' families, my clients' families. They always talk about a grandma, a mom, an aunt, a sister who's just on it. Like that woman just knows everything. It's because they never deactivated the intuition. They kept the self-trust going. And every time they were proven right, they were like, aha, I knew that. I knew that. And they kept growing their trust, right? Giving the brain the commands that we are safe and we know what we're doing. We trust ourselves. But if you go back and look at your ancestors, they weren't always meditating. They weren't doing all these spiritual tactics. They were being. They were doing their daily duties. They were being simply who they are. So, what made them so intuitive? What made them so connected? It's the intimacy they had with the source. And by source, I'm referring to whatever your vocabulary is, honestly. It can be God, it can be the universe, it can be your guardian angels, whatever you want it to be. I prefer to call it the creator source, which is the Christ consciousness, which is the God's way and God's true path. They had a really intimate, close relationship with God. They prayed, they bowed to the earth, they stayed connected to the Divine Mother. And when you have an intimate relationship with God, where does God live in your body? Where has God and Source always said to follow? Follow your heart. Follow your heart. Why is that on repeat all the time? It's because God lives within us and God's residence is our heart. It's all in the heart. And all these women prayed, believed, kept their faith going, and it was blind. A lot of times there was nothing in front of them, but they knew. They knew because they had that intimate relationship with Source where they knew. They were in their hearts. So if you're looking to really activate your intuition, learn to sit in silence. And it does not need to be meditative. It honestly does not. You don't have to do a bunch of prayers either, or affirmations, or I don't know, any kind of tactic, honestly. You have to literally just sit, get into stillness. Because when we're constantly moving, we're distracted, we're in that chaotic energy, and sometimes it becomes forced energy where we're actually causing resistance to receiving answers from our heart, which is where our intuition is. And yes, it's in our gut as well. We feel it in our gut, but the answers and the compass is in the heart. Learn to sit in stillness and silence. If you are looking for answers and you're panicked and you have all this anxiety around, you have all this worry, you're stressed out, you're in chaos, and you cannot understand what to do, and you're blurred. You're in this space where you're blurred. You can't tell, wait, like I don't trust my thoughts. Like, do I go with this? But I feel this way. I should ask my friend, let me do this, let me do that. Unlayer yourself. You're throwing too much on yourself. You're putting yourself under a lot of pressure when you have a built-in guidance system, which is your heart. It's your compass. It's your connection to God, the creator. The more intimate you are with God, you'll start to notice that your intuition is very active, and all of a sudden, things you felt, the random thoughts you had, or idea, or whatever it is, it's happening at light speed because you're so connected and close. And personally, how I do this, I do it through prayer and meditation. That is my way. That is my way. Some do it through gardening, some do it on their on their drive to work. Some do it while they're sleeping in the dream space. Some do it talking out loud to God, to their guides, to themselves. We all have a very unique way to connect. So what is your unique way? Is it prayer, meditation? Is it talking out loud? Is it going for the run? Is it a long drive? What is that moment where you feel like, you know what? Like, I want to know what's happening here. I'm seeking answers. I want to connect to my heart. Ask your questions, put your intentions, and then stay still and silent. I promise you, some spark will come out of you. And it's going to feel grounding, nourishing, and it's going to release the cells of your body. All your cells that are in panic running around, they are all of a sudden going to come into this mode that is very relaxed and it's very grounded. That is when you know your intuition is active. Not the monkey mind, not the ego, not the interferences, the distractions, none of that. But I really want you to study your mothers, your grandmothers, that friend that's really intuitive, or that aunt, whoever that is. How do they stay so connected? It's because they have found their own intimate way to connect with Source. But the key really here is after you're done doing whatever you want to do, it's to sit in silence, even if it's for 30 seconds. Just sit. Let your prayers, your thoughts, your intentions actually move through you. Because remember, your vessel is a portal. You're the extension of God. You're a channel. And you get to decide what frequency you want to tune into all the time. And that's the other thing as well. If you're constantly anxious, there's just this constant chaos. Somewhere your energy has leaked, and it's happened to everybody. I'm totally guilty of this. I get anxious about things all the time, believe it or not. And I have all this wisdom, but the human, of course, wants logic, it wants evidence, it wants answers. But I always remind myself, why am I in a panic about this? Like, am I rushing it? Is it a time issue for me? Is it like a status issue? Like, things are actually flowing great for me. So why am I so panicked? And at that point, I will ask God or my healed ancestors to come in and clear out all the doubt in my heart and restore faith. And anywhere I've leaked energy, please show me the roots of it because I don't want to repeat that. And I basically take my frequency and I retune it into my heart and God, the source energy, the true creator energy. Because anxiety and all this chaos and all these thoughts that are making you panic, that is not how we are meant to live or designed to live. Even though stress sometimes can be healthy and manageable and can teach us a lot, we don't want to stay there. We don't want to panic about everything, right? We don't want to panic about everything because that's what happens. We start to spiral out. You've just tuned into the ego too much. You've allowed your energy to leak out, and now you're thinking from your monkey mind, your ego, and it's making you dance. You want to bring that all back. You want to bring that all back and find your way. Is it, your drive to work, running? Is it meditation? Is it prayer? Is it affirmations? Whatever it is. When and where do you feel the most connected, heard, and seen? And it could be through a friend. It could be through a spouse. It could be through a neighbor where you feel like, yes, like I can openly speak and like receive answer. But the answer must come from within. It must come from within. And if you want to build trust, like on a very psychological level, you can actually do these practices where you had a thought or a feeling, just jot it down, write it down. And then when it happens, go back and be like, aha, yes, I trust myself. I believe myself. I was right about this. The more you do that and the more you say that, the more you program and train your brain to be like, yeah, yes, yes, we trust ourselves. We trust ourselves. We can go with our gut feelings and not have the ifs and buts interfere. So start building evidence. And in the past, if you've been right all the time, make that list. Oh, I was right about this, but then I decided not to, I decided to ignore my intuition. But I was right. Write everything you've been right about and feed your brain that evidence and relax your nervous system. Like, yeah, I'm a badass. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I can trust myself. I can trust myself. But this is what I wanted to talk about today. Again, very brief, very short. I like to make things that are very beneficial. I don't like to drag conversations. I think we need to have more information available sometimes in digestible amounts, right? So I find it very pleasurable to deliver wisdom like this in snippets versus just really talking for hours on a podcast. And those, of course, who are returning to my platform are very aware of this. Um, I only would do a very long podcast or a deeply engaged one if I have an interview, if I'm interviewing someone, I have a guest on the podcast, which honestly is going to happen more often now. Coming up in fall, I will be bringing on some old friends, some new friends to share their side and their perspectives on health, wellness, spirituality, the whole thing, and mindset as well. If you are interested in a topic, like I always say, please leave me a comment. I read all the comments. I'm a one-woman show. I have no admin, none of that in between. So I definitely will get to it. If you enjoyed this, like, share, and subscribe. It honestly means the world to me. And I wish you guys all the best. I hope you have an amazing week ahead. And just remember, we came here to thrive, not just to survive.